I've told you this before, and I've told the audience as well. I'm fortunate what I do for a living. The reason why I wanted to do what I did for a living, in part, is because I grew up listening to you call Knicks games, fell in love with the sport, fell in love with sports casting, fell in love with the Knicks, in many parts to you, the man to whom I'm talking right now. And
well, thanks. I appreciate that.
It's
I think
the
you
truth.
heard the Knicks in better days. Too,
Well,
yeah.
yes. I mean, but all that said, the reason why I set that up with that preamble, in a way, is I thought of you when what happened with Charles Oakley, and I thought of you and all the people that I grew up with, and what the Knicks meant to me, and what the Knicks stood for, and those people who stood for all that. What did you think of that moment when Charles Oakley was dragged out of Madison Square Garden with James Dolan sitting there watching it happen? Marv?
It was astonishing. It was surreal. You know, that kind of stuff just doesn't happen, and certainly could have been handled in a different way. You know, I wasn't there to see exactly what happened, but you know, we've all read about what took place, and it's sad what has happened the last 15, 20 years, and in terms of management and the way things have been handled, and you know, there's been such a lack of success, and people still do show up. You know, they sell out every game. It's just a wonderful place to see basketball. You know, and they did great things with the arena, but you know, player judgments and people who run the team, there have been so many bad decisions that have been made. You know, it has really not been good since. Well, Mike Woodson had one very good year, and then they broke it up. Donnie Walsh at the time was the general manager, and I thought they were really on their way. They won 54 games, and I thought they were on their way to really turning things. And prior to that, you know, the last success was Jeff Van Gundy and Pat Riley and, you know, Dave Checketts, and that was terrific, you know, through the 90s and early 2000s. And it's really a shame because you have great fans there. Of course, you have, you know, people in every city say they're great fans, but and they still show up and, you know, have this hope at the start of the season. And when Phil Jackson made the moves, I mean, there are people who I think know basketball but got excited about Joakim Noah and Derrick Rose. And although Rose did not have a bad year, but he's not the same guy. And Joakim is, you know, was a wonderful player for Chicago over many years, but he's been hurt the last 2 years. I don't know how you make a deal like that. I just don't understand that. So, I mean, there are so many factors involved, but it's just too bad.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.